For 3 years, I planned my entire future around the girl I loved. Then she threw it all away for a rich new guy and transferred to another school, completely certain I would follow her. Everyone expected me to chase her. Even she did. But instead of running after her, I chose a different path and left for a university hundreds of miles north. What happened next shocked everyone. As my life began to rise, hers slowly fell apart, and when she finally realized what she had lost, it was already too late. I thought my future was already decided. For 3 years, Lily Harper and I talked about the same plan. "We'll get a place near campus," she told me one afternoon. I smiled. "And you'll probably steal all my snacks." She laughed. "Only the good ones." Those conversations felt real. They felt permanent. Then Ryan Walker arrived. The first time I saw him, half the school was already talking about him. "His family owns 3 companies, someone said. "I heard he drives a sports car. He's transferring from a private academy." I didn't care. At least I thought I didn't. A few weeks later, Lily started acting differently. "Sorry, Ethan. I can't meet today." "Why?" "I already made plans." "With who?" There was a pause. "Just friends." The answer bothered me more than I wanted to admit. Soon, her replies became shorter. Hours turned into days. Calls became excuses. One afternoon, I found her sitting beside Ryan in the cafeteria. She looked surprised to see me. "Ethan." "Hey." Ryan smiled. "You're Ethan, right?" "Yeah." "Lily talks about you." Something about the way he said it made me uncomfortable. Lily stood up quickly. "We were just talking." "Looks like it." Her smile disappeared. That night I stared at my phone. No messages. No calls. Just silence. The next few months felt like watching someone slowly walk away while pretending they weren't leaving. Then came the day everything broke. "Lily, what did you want to tell me?" We were sitting on a bench behind the school. She wouldn't look at me. Finally she said, "I'm transferring." My stomach dropped. "What?" "I'm going to Westbrook University." I knew that school. It was several hours away. "Why?" She hesitated. Then she said it. "Ryan is going there." For a second I couldn't speak. "You picked a university because of him?" "It's not like that." "Then explain it." She crossed her arms. "I just think it's a better opportunity." I laughed bitterly. "And Ryan being there is just a coincidence?" She stayed quiet. That was all the answer I needed. A few moments later she sighed. "You're overreacting." "Am I?" "Yes." I looked at her. The girl I loved suddenly felt like a stranger. Then she said the words that changed everything. "If you really love me, you'll come with me." I stared at her. "Come with you?" "Transfer. We can still be together." I shook my head. "Lily, you're leaving for another guy." "No, I'm not." "Then why does every decision suddenly involve Ryan?" Her face hardened. "I thought you'd support me. I thought you'd choose us." Neither of us spoke. The silence hurt more than the argument. When I finally stood up, she looked annoyed instead of sad. "Think about it," she said. Then she walked away. I watched her leave. For the first time, I realized she wasn't asking me to build a future with her. She was asking me to follow her. That evening, I sat at the kitchen table. My mother, Sarah Carter, noticed the envelope in my hands. "You okay?" "I don't know." She looked at the letter. "Northern State University?" I nodded. "What are you thinking?" I stared at the acceptance letter. Lily expected me to chase her. Everyone probably expected the same thing. But as I looked at my future sitting in front of me, one question kept repeating in my mind. Had I spent years building my life around someone who no longer valued me? The day I told Lily I was going to Northern State University, she laughed. "You're serious?" "Yeah." She shook her head. "No, you're not." "I am." "You'll change your mind." I stared at her. "I'm not changing anything." She smiled confidently. "Ethan, you've followed every plan we've made for years. Maybe that's the problem." Her smile faded. A week later, graduation arrived. Then summer started. Then reality hit. Every morning, I fought the urge to text her. Every night, I opened old photos. Pictures at football games. Birthday dinners. Road trips. 3 years of memories trapped inside my phone. More than once, my thumb hovered over her contact. I wanted to call. I wanted to hear her voice. I wanted to pretend none of this had happened. But I never pressed the button. Instead, I packed my bags. The morning I left, my mother hugged me tightly. "You'll be okay." "I hope so." "You don't need to chase anyone." I nodded. "I know." The drive north felt longer than it actually was. With every mile, I felt farther from the life I thought I wanted. When I finally arrived at Northern State, my stomach twisted with nerves. A tall guy was already unpacking boxes inside my dorm room. He looked up. "You must be Ethan." "Yeah. I'm Noah Bennett." He offered a handshake. I took it. For the next hour, we unpacked in silence. Then he suddenly asked, "So what's her name?" I froze. "What?" "The girl." "What girl?" "The one who broke your heart." I laughed despite myself. "Am I that obvious?" "A little." I sat on my bed. "Her name is Lily." "What happened?" I told him the short version. When I finished, he nodded. Then he surprised me. He didn't say Lily would come back. He didn't say I should fight for her. Instead, he said something simple. "Sometimes losing someone is how you find yourself." I looked at him. What does that even mean? It means maybe this isn't the end of your story. For the first time in months, I felt slightly lighter. Classes started the following week. During my first lecture, Professor Helen Brooks walked into the room. She immediately commanded attention. No excuses. No shortcuts. No wasted potential. The room became silent. I found myself listening carefully. Maybe because she sounded certain. Maybe because my own life felt uncertain. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, I started creating routines. Classes. Studying. Working out. Late-night conversations with Noah. The pain didn't disappear. But it became quieter. Every now and then, a message from Lily appeared. "How's school? Are you settling in? Still happy up there?" I noticed something strange. She never asked about my future. She only asked if I was coming back. I never gave her the answer she wanted. One evening, I was studying when my phone buzzed. A mutual friend had tagged me in a post. Curious, I opened it. My chest tightened instantly. The photo showed Lily and Ryan smiling together at a campus event. His arm was around her shoulder. She looked happy. For a moment, everything hurt again. The distance. The memories. The betrayal. I stared at the screen. Then I remembered Noah's words. Sometimes losing someone is how you find yourself. Without thinking further, I deleted the photo. Then I deleted the post. Then I put down my phone. For the first time since Lily left, I chose myself instead of her. Months passed faster than I expected. One afternoon, Noah dropped onto his bed and stared at me. "Do you ever take a break?" I looked up from my notes. "From what?" "Studying." I laughed. "Not really. You've become terrifying." "Good." "No, seriously. Last semester you looked heartbroken. Now you look like you're preparing to take over the world." I closed my textbook. "I'm just staying busy." The truth was more complicated. Every workout, every class, every late night in the library helped me focus on something other than Lily. The more I worked, the stronger I felt. One morning, Professor Brooks stopped me after class. "Ethan." "Yes, Professor?" "Your last project was exceptional." "Thank you." She nodded. "You've improved significantly." "I've been trying." "I can see that." Then she handed me a card. "Apply for this internship." I looked down. The company was one of the most respected firms in the region. "You think I have a chance?" I wouldn't have suggested it otherwise. For the first time in a long while, I felt genuinely excited. A few weeks later, Noah dragged me to a student newspaper meeting. "I don't belong here. Stop complaining and walk." Inside, a girl looked up from her laptop. "You must be Noah's friend." I nodded. "Ethan." She smiled. "Emma Collins." Unlike most people, she didn't immediately ask about my life. Instead, she asked, "What are you studying?" We talked for nearly an hour. Classes, books, career goals. When I finally stood to leave, she said, "It was nice talking to you." The simple honesty surprised me. Over the next few weeks, Emma and I kept running into each other. One afternoon she asked, "Why do you always seem ready to leave?" I hesitated. "Old habit." "Someone hurt you?" "Something like that." She didn't push further. That was what made her different. She listened. One evening, my phone suddenly rang. The screen showed Lily's name. I almost ignored it. Instead, I answered, "Hello." Her voice came quickly. "You seem different." I leaned back in my chair. "Different how?" "I don't know." "You called to tell me that?" "No. I just..." She paused. "You don't talk to me the same way anymore." I thought about that. Then I answered honestly. Maybe I finally grew up. Silence. For the first time since I'd known her, Lily sounded uncertain. "What does that mean?" "It means my life doesn't revolve around you anymore." She didn't respond immediately. The conversation ended a few minutes later. Afterward, I sat quietly. Part of me expected guilt. Instead, I felt relief. A few days later, a mutual friend called. Lily and Ryan aren't doing great. What happened? They argue all the time. I said nothing. Ryan's been acting like a jerk lately. That's unfortunate. The friend laughed. That's all you have to say? Pretty much. That night, my email notification appeared. My heart started racing when I opened it. The internship had accepted me. Before I could process it, another message arrived from the director. Marcus Reed. Ethan, your application stood out immediately. We'd like to discuss long-term opportunities after the program. I read the sentence twice. Then 3 times. A long-term opportunity. A real future. As I stared at the screen, I realized something important. While Lily had been watching Ryan, I had been building a life she never expected me to have. My life kept moving forward. The internship was going well. Classes were going well. For the first time in years, I felt like I was building something that belonged to me. One afternoon, Emma sat across from me in the student cafe. You look less miserable. I laughed. Thanks, I think. I'm serious. I know. She smiled. That's progress. I shook my head. You make it sound like I survived a natural disaster. Didn't you? I couldn't argue with that. Before I could respond, my phone vibrated. Lily. I ignored it. Emma noticed. You don't have to answer. I know. A minute later, it rang again. Then again. Emma raised an eyebrow. That seems urgent. I sighed and answered. Hello. At first, I heard nothing. Then I heard crying. Lily? Ethan. Her voice was shaking. What happened? For a moment, I forgot everything. The memories, the betrayal, the way she left. I only remembered that I once loved her. Talk to me, I said. It's Ryan. My chest tightened. What about him? He keeps lying. I stayed silent. He flirts with other girls right in front of me. More silence. He acts like I don't matter. The irony hit me immediately. I remembered canceled plans, ignored messages, broken promises. I remembered exactly how that felt. Ethan? I'm here. I don't know what to do. I closed my eyes. Part of me wanted to help. Part of me wanted to protect her. But another part remembered standing alone while she chose someone else. Have you talked to him? Yes. What did he say? She laughed bitterly. He told me I was being dramatic. The conversation lasted almost an hour. When it ended, I felt exhausted. That evening, Noah listened quietly. Then he asked, Are you going to save her? I don't know. Do you want to? I thought carefully. I don't want her suffering. That's not what I asked. I stared at the floor. No. Noah nodded. Good. The next few weeks became strange. Lily called more often. Every conversation sounded worse than the last. One night she said, He forgot my birthday. Another night, he left me alone at a party. Then, he spent the entire evening talking to another girl. The pattern became impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, Emma continued appearing in my life. One afternoon we were walking across campus. She suddenly stopped. Can I ask something? Sure. Why do you keep looking backward? I frowned. What do you mean? You have a future in front of you. She pointed ahead. But every time Lily calls, you mentally run back there. I didn't answer. Emma softened her voice. You don't live there anymore. Those words stayed with me. Days later, Lily called again. This time she sounded completely defeated. Ethan? Yeah. I was wrong. I leaned back in my chair. What do you mean? A long silence followed. Then I heard her crying again. Not angry tears. Not frustrated tears. Regret. Deep regret. When she finally spoke, her voice broke. Leaving you was the biggest mistake I've ever made. I closed my eyes. For years I had imagined hearing those words. Now that they had finally arrived, they didn't feel like victory. They felt like the sound of a perfect dream collapsing around the person who chose it. The news reached me through a mutual friend. Ryan dumped Lily. I looked up from my laptop. What happened? He left her for another girl. I sat quietly. The irony was impossible to miss. Years ago, Lily had left me for Ryan. Now Ryan had left her for someone else. What did she say? Not much. I nodded slowly. For the rest of the day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Not because I missed Lily. Because I remembered exactly how that kind of betrayal felt. 3 days later, my phone buzzed. A text from Lily. Can we talk? I didn't answer. An hour later, another message arrived. Please. Then came the emails, the calls, the voice messages. Every few days, another attempt appeared. At first, I ignored them. Then no one noticed. She's trying hard. Apparently. What are you going to do? I don't know. He shrugged. Just don't confuse guilt with love. That sentence stayed with me. The messages continued for weeks. Then one afternoon, Lily sent something different. I'm coming to Northern State. My stomach tightened. For nearly 2 years, our relationship had existed through screens and phone calls. Now she wanted to meet face to face. Part of me wanted to cancel. Another part wanted answers. In the end, I agreed. We met at a small cafe near campus. When I walked inside, I almost didn't recognize her. She looked tired. Older somehow. The confidence she once carried was gone. Ethan. Hi, Lily. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she sat down. Thank you for coming. I nodded. You said it was important. It is. Silence stretched between us. Finally she spoke. Ryan is gone. I know. He left me. I said nothing. He met someone else. Again I stayed quiet. A sad laugh escaped her. Funny, isn't it? I understood exactly what she meant. Yeah. Her eyes filled with tears. For several seconds she struggled to speak. Then the words finally came out. I thought you'd always follow me. I stared at her. The honesty shocked me. What? She wiped her eyes. I thought no matter what happened you'd be there. I leaned back. So when you left, you never thought I'd leave too? She shook her head. No. That was the moment everything became clear. She had never expected consequences. She had never imagined a version of my life that didn't revolve around her. Ethan, I was stupid. I remained silent. I thought I had endless chances. You did have chances. Her shoulders dropped. I know. The tears returned. I ruined everything. I looked at the woman I once loved more than anyone. A year earlier, seeing her cry would have broken me. Now it mostly made me sad. Not for myself. For her. Lily. She looked up. I loved you. Her eyes widened. But I won't spend my life chasing someone who keeps looking over my shoulder for someone better. The words landed heavily. She covered her mouth. More tears followed. This time she didn't argue. She didn't defend herself. She didn't make excuses. For the first time she truly understood what she had lost. And for the first time, I knew I wasn't the one carrying that loss anymore. After our meeting at the cafe, Lily didn't disappear. If anything, she tried harder. Every few days another message appeared. How are you? I miss talking to you. Can we meet again? Sometimes I answered. Most times I didn't. The difficult part wasn't rejecting her. The difficult part was remembering everything we once shared. 3 years together couldn't be erased overnight. One evening I sat outside the library staring at my phone. Emma walked over carrying 2 coffees. You look troubled. I accepted the cup. Thanks. Lily again? I laughed softly. Am I that predictable? A little. She sat beside me. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then I asked, have you ever wanted something you knew was wrong for you? Emma nodded. Of course. What did you do? I stopped confusing comfort with happiness. That answer stayed with me. Over the following weeks, Lily and I spoke several more times. One night she said, I know I don't deserve another chance. I remained quiet. But I wish I had one. Another time she said, if I could go back, I'd choose differently. I believed her. That was the strange part. I truly believed she regretted everything. Yet something still felt broken. One afternoon, Emma and I were walking across campus. The wind pushed leaves across the sidewalk. I finally admitted what I'd been struggling with. Part of me still cares about her. Emma nodded. I know. I don't hate her. You don't have to. I think I've forgiven her. Emma stopped walking. Then she looked directly at me. You don't owe anyone your future just because they were part of your past. The words hit me harder than she probably realized. For several seconds I couldn't respond. Because deep down I knew she was right. That night I sat alone in my dorm room thinking. Forgiveness and reconciliation weren't the same thing. I could forgive Lily. I could genuinely wish her well. But that didn't mean I had to rebuild what she destroyed. For years I had viewed the situation as a choice between anger and reunion. Now I finally saw a third option. Moving forward. The realization felt freeing. The next time Lily called, I answered. Ethan? Hi, Lily. I've been thinking about us. So have I. Hope immediately entered her voice. Really? Yes. A long silence followed. Then I continued. I forgive you. She started crying. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Finally she whispered, thank you. But we're not getting back together. The silence that followed felt different. Not shocked. Not angry. Just sad. I understand. I wasn't sure she completely did, but it was a start. Over the next month, her messages became less frequent. The desperation slowly disappeared. Acceptance replaced it. Meanwhile, my own life kept improving. The internship ended successfully. Marcus Reed called me personally. Ethan, we'd like to make you an offer after graduation. I nearly dropped my phone. A job offer? A very serious one. When the call ended, I sat there smiling. Years earlier, losing Lily felt like losing my future. Now graduation was approaching. A career was waiting. Good friends surrounded me. And for the first time in a very long time, I wasn't wondering who would choose me. I was finally choosing myself. Graduation day arrived faster than I expected. As I adjusted my gown backstage, Noah grinned at me. You survived. Barely. He laughed. No, seriously. Look at you. I shook my head. What about me? 2 years ago, you looked like your life was over. And now? Now you look like you're ready to start it. Before I could answer, our names were called. A few minutes later, I walked across the stage. The applause echoed through the auditorium. As I accepted my diploma, a memory flashed through my mind. A boy sitting at a kitchen table. A university acceptance letter. A broken heart. Back then, I thought losing Lily was the end of everything. I couldn't have been more wrong. It wasn't the end. It was the beginning. After the ceremony ended, students and families filled the campus lawn. My mother hugged me first. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Mom. You earned this. A familiar voice interrupted us. Ethan. I turned around. Lily stood a few feet away. For a second, neither of us spoke. Then my mother quietly walked away, giving us space. Can we talk? Sure. We moved toward a quieter area near the edge of campus. Lily looked nervous, more nervous than I had ever seen her. Finally she spoke. I owe you an apology. I waited. She took a deep breath. I hurt you. I nodded. I know. I was selfish. Again I nodded. I thought happiness was somewhere else. There were no excuses in her voice. No attempts to blame anyone else. Only honesty. I thought you'd always be there. I looked at her carefully. You've said that before. I know. She swallowed hard. But I finally understand what it means. I stayed silent. Tears filled her eyes. I lost someone who truly loved me. For the first time, I believed she completely understood. Not because she was suffering. Because she had finally accepted responsibility. I'm sorry, Ethan. The words were simple. But they were real. After a moment, I answered. I accept your apology. She looked relieved. Then sad. Because we both knew what came next. Thank you. I smiled gently. I hope you're happy someday. Her eyes widened slightly. You too. We stood there for a few seconds. Then I extended my hand. She looked surprised. Before finally shaking it. And just like that, it was over. No anger. No revenge. No unfinished business. Just goodbye. For good. That evening, I celebrated with Noah, Emma, my mother, Professor Brooks, and several friends. At one point, Emma raised her glass. To new beginnings. Everyone cheered. A week later, I boarded a train heading toward another northern city. My new job waited there. A new apartment. A new future. As the train began moving, I looked through the window. Fields and buildings slowly disappeared behind me. Years ago, Lily thought I would follow her. For a while, I thought so too. Instead, I followed my own path. I chose my future. I chose my growth. I chose myself. And as the city faded into the distance, I smiled. That choice had made all the difference.